Hello YouTube, this is Robert Ness816 and I'm making a video with regards to Weller soldering guns. So I have here two different types of Weller soldering guns. They're both basically the same thing, just one is from about the 1970s. This one's from currently, what the current model is. This one is the Weller, where is the model number on this one? Supposed to be on the soldering gun, which it is not. Let's see, maybe it's on the box. It should be on the box. There it is, 9400 PKS, made in Mexico. So the 9400 PKS replaced the 8200 PK, or maybe it was PKS, I'm not sure. This is the 8200N. So the differences between both of these soldering guns are basically everything. They do the exact same thing, just one's newer and maybe a little bit more cheaply made. The other one's older and maybe a little bit better made in USA, made in Mexico, I don't know. This one has a Bakelite case on it, which is an advantage in how the product feels. In the hand, it feels like it's more solidly made. It has a just a more sturdy feel to it. The disadvantage with Bakelite, though, is that if you drop it, it will shatter, and that will be the end of it. This one has no visible cracks on it, though, thank goodness, so this one's in great shape. This one I bought actually today at a garage sale. The only thing that I did to it was just straighten out the tip, because typically it was like most of these, when you find them, they're pushed in or whatever. I guess that's from sitting. It had a lot of green corrosion too around the lighter part of the tip there, and I did have to tin it again too, as well as, you know, just snug down the tip bolts on these. But yeah, overall though, it seems like it works. This will be the first time I'm actually going to be using it on anything, because as far as I know, this thing probably hasn't been used in years, maybe even decades, who knows. But this one is nice because it has a two-stage trigger on it, like the new one has, except this one has more feel to it. So the first click is 100 watts, second click is 140 watts. And you can see how it's got the light in there. It still works, and it's already heating up. So excellent product, still working after all these years. These came mostly in a cardboard box. Sometimes they would come in a case. It depends on, I guess, how you bought it. These, from what I've seen, they always come in a plastic case, which I showed you before. So not as good as the Weller PK from about 2002, which I also have. That one has a basically a hinged case like this one has, except the entire top is a clear plastic like this, except it's thicker. So, and it's also more compact. This one just kind of takes up a lot of space, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So the new one, what did Weller do to it? So they improved the ergonomics on this one greatly. The handle is, I think, too big for what it is, too long. But as far as in the hand, it feels great though. So it's actually very neutral feeling in the hand. It's not top heavy or anything like that. They have these 3 LED lights, which are nice, but I would have preferred just one LED light in the front there, maybe a little bit higher output one or something like that. But it is what it is. The color scheme on it there is iffy. I would have preferred black. The rubber texture on it is nice for grip, but for me it's not needed, because I don't know why you be slipping with this thing. Are you sweaty? I'm not sure. This, if you use it a lot though, I can see this rubber grip, maybe it'll come off, but I'm not too sure. Made out of modern plastic, so if you drop this, it probably won't break, so that's the big advantage with it. This one, like the last generation 8200, goes from 140 to 100 watts, so it's backwards compared to the older one. Not sure why Weller switched it around, but they did. As far as the trigger feeling, there's only one click on it. The second click is barely noticeable, but the first one definitely is. It does feel better in the hand because the front of it's fatter, so Not bad. It has the modern style tip design, so it uses these Allen keys to tighten down the tips. These Allen keys I don't like because they are easy to strip out, so you can replace these with regular screws if you wanted. But in my opinion, though, I think Weller should have stayed with the nut design. But I have a feeling that they probably discontinued this design because maybe people were using too much force when tightening down the tips, because, you know, people today are stupid and they were stupid back then, no doubt. So maybe that's why. Or it was a cost-cutting measure too. But yeah, you can still get new tips for these soldering irons, thank God. So these are excellent products. They are still a dime a dozen though, because these things sold so well, and they also don't break. So I mean, it literally is just a transformer with a soldering tip on it. So it's really hard to kill these. But the way that you can kill these though is if you do not ever tighten down the tips. A lot of people don't know to do that, so basically before you use one of these soldering guns, you're supposed to snug down on the tips before using it. Same thing goes with the new one. That's why it says keep tip nuts tight. If you allow these tip nuts to loosen up, what will happen is the transformer inside will become very, very hot because there's a lot of electrical resistance there in the connection. The tip will barely get hot. It will basically heat the shit out of your wire and melt it or whatever, but it won't solder anything because it's at that tipping point where it's basically hot enough to cause a lot of heat, but not hot enough to solder with. This transformer, though, will get super hot, and if you allow it to keep getting hot, it will actually melt the case of the soldering unit. So very important to use common sense. Read the instructions, and yeah, after that, your soldering iron will work perfectly for decades to come, as shown here. And if you look on eBay, as shown on eBay, because these things are still a dime a dozen in various states of condition. There's a lot of them that still look like they're brand new because the owners of them probably didn't know what they were doing even back then. So yeah. So now I will demonstrate how to use your Weller soldering gun, if it's your 9400 PKS or 8200N or any other 8200 you might have. I'll also use the newer one just for the hell of it as a comparison. The biggest thing when using a soldering gun is don't leave it near the edge so it can fall off the table. Try to organize the cord on it or whatever so it doesn't get tangled up or get dragged on the floor or whatever. So the new ones also have a stiff cord, which I'm not a fan of. I wish Weller would have kept the old style cord, because even on the last generation 8200s, the cord was very, very soft, just like it is on this one. Very soft, very pliable, has some dried stuff on it there, whatever, but it is still a very soft cord. Definitely something that I like because it just dangles. So now what I'm gonna do is hopefully, let's see, can I pull this thing up? Oh, I can. I'm gonna demonstrate for you guys a little bit of soldering. Let's see, I'm going to try and lock the focus in here if I can. Oops, I messed up. There we go. Okay, so Weller 8200. There's the tip of it there so you can see. So I'm going to unsolder this connection here. I probably should do this at a distance, but we'll see. So I'm going to do this with 140 watts. I'm going to wait for it to heat up. And I'm going to put a little bit of solder on the tip just to aid in heat transfer. This is mainly what these soldering guns are for, though, is for larger projects like this. So you can see it's heating it up. And there you have it. So very quick, very easy. And then to solder it back on, I always like to use a little bit of flux. So I'm using this SRA paste flux. So since it's still nice and hot, I'm going to take some and put it onto the connector. My helping hands that I have is really not that good. These things, the base on it is not good. The Weller version is actually better though because the base is heavier. So the next time I get one of these, I'm just going to spend the extra money and get the Weller one. All right, so now we're just going to do it again, 140 watts. Wait for the tip to heat up and start smoking. which it is. So now there's going to be more smoke because of the flux, but you can see how quickly it heats everything up. So there's your nice solder joint right there. So the thing is to stop soldering once you see the solder flowing, and that's it. Any more heat than that and you risk ruining the solder joint. But anyway, let's see what we have here. So not bad for something that hasn't been used in probably forever. So there is some burnt up flux on there. So that's not going anywhere. So there you have it. And then we're going to try tinning this right now, just for the hell of it. We'll see what type of result we can get. This is 10 gauge wire, by the way, so perfect for what this solder gun is really meant for. And like I said, you can use it for larger PCB work too if you have any large through-hole components that are connected to heat sinks or large ground planes inside the board. These solder guns are great for heating up solder like that, where a soldering station just won't be able to keep up with. So we'll see now how well this works. See what type of tinning I can do here with this. Very slight buzzing coming from the transformer on the solder gun. There you go, look at that. Look at that solder flow. See, that's what you want with one of these things. Complete penetration of the wire. That's what you want to see right there. And that's why I love these soldering guns, because they just work so well. They're so quick, so easy. Even one like this that's coming up on probably 50 years old or whatever, just works perfectly fine. So now I will just demonstrate the new one as I get flux all over my thing here. I guess I'll just unsolder, we'll do the top one because I haven't touched that one yet. So now I'll just unplug the old gun from the wall outlet here and plug in the new one. Okay, I love new outlets. Just installed some commercial grade outlets actually. Feels so nice to plug them into something solid instead of a sloppy, shitty old outlet. So here's the old connection here. We'll just try to get a better focus on that. So already the cord is annoying me though, because it's not just sagging like it should. It's still bunched up, but whatever. So we'll heat this one up. Just get my solder situated here. Definitely a more pronounced buzzing from the newer one. So what we'll do here is we'll see if I can't just do it this way. There we go. Heating up the solder joint. There you go. Look at that. Nice and easy. So now I'll just put a little bit of flux on it there, resolder it there, and you'll see if it works. Well, I mean, I know it'll work. It's not going to not work. Okay, so there we go. Paste flux. Should have got the liquid flux, but whatever. So definitely a nicer light, without a doubt. You can see how nice and bright the work area is. Okay. And there you have it. So let's check out the soldering jobs here. So the top one here is the new one. A little bit of a sloppy solder joint there, which was my fault, but anyway, still nice and solid. And even doing it that way, there is no deformation of the plug because of how quickly I was able to heat up the plug here, the work area, and perform what I needed to perform. And then, you know, if I used more solder or more flux, I could have gotten it into that channel maybe a little bit better, but I think it's all the way down, actually. I can't even tell. Yeah, it's all the way in there. Trying to focus it. Come on, you fuck. There we go. So, this video is for mature audiences only now. But anyways, so nice and solid. There's a few strands right there that are sticking out, but whatever. And then here's the one done with the older weller. So nice and solid. These aren't going anywhere. So yeah, definitely an awesome solder gun here. So you can see the penetration that I had. You can see how the solder is just kind of wicking through the strands of the wire on the bottom. And then the top is completely saturated, so this would have been excellent for creating a new solder joint, for soldering onto like a new connector or whatever if I needed to, but this is just a demonstration here. So, long video, but just to show you guys, so the 9400 PKS works well. I don't have any complaints with it really, except for the cord design. But when push comes to shove, I think all Weller needed to do was just take the most recent version of the 8200 and just add like an LED light to it. Like just a single LED light. Instead of using 3 like that, it would have been perfectly fine. Because this overall design, this is pretty much an iconic design that they had for decades. There was really no reason to change it. So the most recent 8200 had the current collet system and the tip setup, and it also had a regular plastic case, and it worked just fine. I actually have one at my job that I use. I bought that one in 2002, brand new. It works perfectly fine, heats up just as quickly as that one does, and this one. The trigger has a better feel like this one does, though, actually, which I really like. It has that nice click on both high and low settings here, which the new one barely has. So yeah, just my opinion, but I still like the 8200 a little bit better than the 9400 PKS, only because the cord pretty much sucks on the new one. It's just too, look at that, see how stiff it is? I've had this one for like 3 years and it hasn't become pliable yet. This one, you know, obviously it's like 50 years old, but still the cord material is better. And the last 8200, the cord material is nice and soft, and it just sags, you know, beautifully. It doesn't get hung up on nothing. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the video, guys. Thanks for watching.